is an example of the law of cosines. And what we have here is a hockey player is attempting a shot, and he is 20 feet from one of the posts and 24 feet from the other post. The hockey goal is 6 feet wide, and the question is, what is the player's shot angle? And we're going to go further than just finding the shot angle. We're going to go ahead and find that angle as well and that angle as well. Here we go. Alright, so this is the representation of the angle, and it's probably not to scale. It should be smaller, but it doesn't matter. And what we have is we have all three sides. So this is an SSS triangle, and when you have an SSS triangle, you're going to be using the law of cosines. Alright. And so you need to decide which one you're going to use. And really, when you have an SSS triangle, it doesn't matter. You can choose to solve for either one first. So we're going to go ahead and solve for angle A first. Alright, and we know that A is 6, B is 24, and C is 20. So this becomes 6 squared equals 24 squared plus 20 squared minus 2 times 24 times 20 times the cosine of A. I went ahead and I multiplied. 6 squared is 36, 24 squared is 576, 20 squared is 400, 2 times 24 times 20 is 960, cosine A. And one of the mistakes that I've noticed is that students will want to combine those three numbers. You can't do that. This one is a term along with the cosine A. So really all you can do is combine those two, which is what we're going to do. So the 576 and the 400 become 976. And what we're going to do is we're going to subtract 976 from both sides. This goes away. This side remains negative 960 cosine A. This is minus 940. And we're trying to solve for A, so we need to isolate cosine A. So we're going to divide. Well, before you divide by negative 60, just understand if this is negative and this is negative, then they're going to cancel each other out. Not 4, 6. Right? They're both negatives, so basically they're both positives. And what we're going to do is we're going to divide by 960. So the cosine of A is equal to 940 over 960. But we don't want the cosine of A, we want A. So angle A is equal to cosine to the negative 1. We got to do the inverse because we're interested in an angle of 940 over 960. And that means that angle A is equal to 11.7 degrees. Okay? So you go back to the triangle, and this is 11.7. Well, we're still missing this one, and we're still missing that one. Alright, now we have to find either angle B or angle C. Now you could use the law of sines, but if you use the law of sines, then you're going to have to be careful, because what you have now, it's an SSA situation, and you're going to probably end up with 0, 1, or 2 solutions. So in order to avoid that check, for the SSS triangle, you should use the law of cosines to find the second angle as well. Got it? Rewind if you didn't hear that explanation. So we're going to use the law of cosines to find another angle. So I'm going to go for angle B. So I'm going to use that equation. Here we go. This is the law of cosines. B is 24. So 24 squared equals 6 squared plus 20 squared minus 2 times 6 times 20 cosine of B. And B is what we want. Okay. Plug it in the calculator, you get that 24 squared is this, 6 squared, 20 squared, and then this multiplied is minus 240. And what we're going to do is we're going to combine those. 436 And we're going to subtract 436 from here. So this equals 140. This goes away, negative 240 cosine B. And now you'll notice that this is negative and this is not, so there's nothing we can do about that. It's going to be a negative ratio. Alright, so we have that the cosine of B is 140 over negative 240. And we want B, so B is equal to the inverse cosine of 140 over negative 240. So B is equal to 125.7. Okay. So B is 125.7. And now to find the last one, we just subtract everything from 180. So over here, 180 minus 11.7 minus 125.7 gives us 42.6. There you go. Alright, so the biggest advice is for SSS, use the law of cosines twice. Right? Because sometimes if you don't use it twice, like for the first two angles, because if you try using the law of sines on the second angle, sometimes you'll have an SSA situation where there's two answers. So if you don't want to bother with that check, just use the law of cosines twice. And it's pretty easy. You just gotta learn to get comfortable with rearranging and doing your inverse cosine.